Hello, good morning, good afternoon, and or good night. This is Genshin Impact English lesson number 48. We are continuing Liyue Act 3, Part 5, because in English lesson number 47, we left off from this scene. Enjoy the recap while I get my matcha. Oh crap, my lunch is burning.
Huh? He's already gone! That guy is fast! What's going on?
And then as a heads up, there's going to be a big fight, so be prepared for that. It's like a war fight.
Paimon's exhausted. If we hadn't happened to see the Jade Chamber flying over just as we came out of the Golden House, we really wouldn't have known which way to go. Did we make it in time? Is the Overlord of the Vortex still in the sea? It hasn't destroyed Liyue yet, has it?
Overlord, anyone with supreme power.
What are you doing here?
Huh? Hold on. It's the Adept guy. What are you doing on the Jade Chamber? Paimon thought you were arguing with the Qixing. Is the fighting over?
Faced with a calamity of such magnitude, we have agreed to put our differences aside for now and unite against this common enemy.
Paimon gets it. So how do you plan to defend Liyue? Just seeing this Overlord of the Vortex guy puts a pit in Paimon's tummy, even from all the way out here.
Put a pit in Paimon's tummy is based on a pit in my stomach idiom, which is a colorful display trying to define that you are very, 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 so intensely nervous and or have a lot of fear or anxiety. Still a very relevant idiom used by many generations and used in many formal and in informal situations. Best sentence example. Have you not heard from the colleges I apply to? Puts a pit in my stomach. And ooh, I'm getting close to that decision deadline. Oh boy.
It's not just you. We've got new Millilith recruits who can't even stand at attention without shaking. The force of an ancient god's presence seems to be too much for ordinary people to handle. Which is why we must stop that monster before it gets any closer to Liyue Harbor.
So the Archon War was fought 2,000 years ago against enemies like that thing? Now that's scary. So will the power of the Qixing, Millilith, and Adepti gathered here be enough to stop that god?
We've already discussed this together, and our conclusion is not necessarily.
What? But all of you are supposed to be the guardians of Liyue. Can't you think of something?
One certainly could.
Huh?
The Qixing did once research the matter of the Guizhong ballista when it piqued their fancy.
To pique our fancy, or to pick one's fancy, is equivalent to the other phrase, to pique one's interest, meaning to stimulate or arouse someone's attention or curiosity. Same meaning with different focuses. To pique one's interest usually focuses on the intellectual curiosity or the desire to learn more about something, while to pique one's fancy is to be more whimsical, suggesting that something appeals to a person's taste or liking. They share the same meaning because it is used, meaning that something has grabbed our attention in a positive way. Such as example sentence, Greg and I during the meeting were talking all about NFL, and so we decided it piqued our fancy, so after work we would go to a bar and have and share a couple of drinks.
And as fate would have it, one who did craft the Guizhong Ballista with one's own hands is here. For what could you mortals ever learn of Adepti mechanisms? Yet, it would take one, but a little tinkering to turn this ballista into an engine of war beyond your wildest thoughts.
I suppose this is one blessing from the Adepti that we should be thankful for. So be it. We shall use the upgraded Guizhong Ballista to fight off that god. All the Adepti here can lend their strength to man it. We haven't a moment to spare.
We haven't a moment to spare. Idiom means there's absolutely no extra time available, so we gotta take immediate action. A very versatile idiom in both informal and formal settings when you don't have time left for verification. So you gotta do something quickly.
Our battle begins now. Yep.
The Fatui! They're attacking the Guizhong Ballista!
The three Adepti are manning the Guizhong Ballista. Do not let the Fatui disturb their work.
Yeah, and in this fight, it's gonna get really real.
We Adepti have not faced the god in 7 millennia.
So in every corner, you're trying to defend the ballista. So this is relatively easy if you've been following my level up tutorials through the English lessons. You'll be fine. But yeah, you're running around north, east, and west, and I recommend Electro just because it is raining, or Cryo. But it's great for survivability, and you can have literally any elements for Traveler. So I would recommend a Nemo Traveler. And then, yes, this fight is very epic. There's tons of Fatui members just going at you. They are super weak to Electro and Cryo. Do your best. You can always repeat this fight, I believe, if you die for whatever reason. Yeah, die Fatui, die. Yeah, I'm beating them up. Look at that. Yes. But yeah, it's pretty. I mean, it's it's kind of repeatable phase, but let's get to the point over here. Yeah, and then in this fight, you want to look out for the serpent's AoE attacks because, yep, those red circle things, you want to avoid that. And you want to keep your eye on those ballistas' health. And yeah, I think that's a sign we did it. Because it's about 12 seconds, 11, 10. Let's do a little cute countdown. Okay, cool.
The interlopers are no more. Now we may commit ourselves fully.
It's working! We just need to...
Be careful now.
The Guizhong Ballista is destroyed. Without its covering fire, retaliation shall be difficult.
But the Jade Chamber is our last line of defense. We can't give another inch, no matter what.
I have another idea.
What do you mean, Lady Ningguang?
I'll sacrifice the Jade Chamber.
What is the meaning of this?
Ooh, that's risky.
I understand.
Traveler, lend me a hand. Farewell, old friend. Goodbye for now. Let us meet again in the future.
Booyah! Okay, I'm not that good making explosion sounds with my mouth. Yay, we did it! Really good, yes, yes. Also, a very, very good cinematic scene in Genshin Impact. One of my top favorites.
Is it finally over?
The ominous aura of that monster has indeed begun to fade. The effects of the Sigil of Permission last but a short time. It will be some time before the Overlord of the Vortex can make any waves again.
We are indebted to you for your assistance. If the Adepti hadn't happened to be here, the future of Liyue Harbor would surely have been in great jeopardy.
Surely have been in great jeopardy. Surely have been in great trouble. Not Jeopardy the game, but usually in most cases and sentences and in scenarios, jeopardy implies trouble or some peril of some sort depending on the context given. Sample sentence, such as a formal case. If that whistleblower is successful in this lawsuit, this business will be in great jeopardy because of him.
Save your flattery. We didn't just happen to be here. Surely you won't pretend to have forgotten the reason for which we came.
Come now. There's no need for such harsh words, Cloud Retainer. I've heard that when Ningguang began learning to do business, she had already started setting aside part of her then limited income in preparation for building the Jade Chamber. At first, it was only the size of a small room, but with continued expansion, it has become the palace that lies before you now. It is a testament to Ningguang's entire life, both as a businesswoman and as the backbone of the Liyue Qixing.
Testament here implies this is her life's mission, such as saying if a dad was talking to a son, since the moment you were born, I knew you had the testament to be an NFL player. And then here, as the backbone of, is just like saying the most crucial or foundational or supportive part of a system or any type of concept, kind of like how you see a book and its binder is its backbone to hold the book together. Because typically when we say the backbone of, and we look at the transcription over here, we're talking about her Jade Chamber. Kind of like when you started college, at first you started a remote business to help with some expenses. It was very small. And then later, after college, that small business flourishes because over time, that hard work became your backbone and made who you are naturally.
Seeing the Jade Chamber destroyed in the defense of Liyue means much to her. To me, such cooperation and sacrifice deserves at least some recognition, don't you agree?
Well, I was really hoping you would say that such sacrifice could at least be used as some leverage in our negotiations. Thank you all for hearing me out. We know very well why the Adepti came here today. But please forgive us. We cannot yield to your wishes.
Whenever anyone says we cannot yield to your wishes, this means that the speaker is refusing to comply with or agree to or grant what someone else wants in negotiations. A lazy and indirect and formal way of saying, no, we can't do this in negotiation.
Oh?
3,700 years. According to our records, the Adepti signed a contract with Rex Lapis to protect Liyue 3,700 years ago. Even to this very day, Liyue and its lands have stood the test of time, immovable as stone, just as it was thousands of years before. This is truly no small feat. But that does not mean that the Liyue of today is the same city as it was all those years ago. Do not merely cast your protective gaze upon the land. Instead, focus your sights on our city and each of the citizens that dwell within it.
Citizens that also live within it.
Are you questioning our means of protecting Liyue?
I mean no offense. I simply hope that our Adepti forebears would see Liyue in a new light.
Forebearers, you say? One doubts you would be fit to be part of such a lineage.
This morning, Rex Lapis appeared to me in a dream.
What?
In the dream, I yearned to tell him that we Qixing, though mortal, are equally bound to the contract. Each passing generation of the Qixing leaves many things of value to be inherited by the next generation.
Exactly saying that if she had a daughter and if she passed away, the Jade Chamber is now her daughter's.
I also thought to tell him how the past generations of Qixing had strove under his rule to survive in our mortal world, establishing a network of contracts which has since come to be known as trade.
Strove is past tense of strive, verb, which means to make great efforts to achieve or obtain something. It would be incorrect to label strive as a non-common word just because this exists in the Bible. Because it's used in many ways, such as the famous, we strive for greatness, or to strive for honor and bravery. Because in this sentence over here, strove under his rule, she's using the second definition of strive, meaning to struggle or fight vigorously, which is the second use.
But I dared not speak. I could only gaze at him in silence until the moment I awoke.
Oh, Ningguang.
Yet another perspective. What are you trying to say, Outlander?
Right! That's something that happened in Mondstadt. It's a story about the Four Winds and the people of the Animal Archon. The Animal Archon sought to quell the strife between the two sides because he believed that such conflict would only scar the hearts of both, and that nothing good would come of it.
The Anemo Archon sought to quell. That phrase, sought to quell, means to attempt to suppress or calm or end something, usually a violent unrest or fear or doubt or other things. At a glance, we could replace that with subdue. Strife, noun, another word of saying conflict. However, strife implies a more heated or bitter conflict between individuals or groups, usually in context in older, way older times. Couples would try to refer to marital strife as if, let's say next door, they heard a husband and wife kind of bicker and then argue, and then later there's a calm in that conflict and or strife. It's a tough word to use conversationally just because it's kind of not used anymore. Sometimes it is, but it's pretty rare, such as articles. Like, as if example sentence, the company experienced significant labor strife during negotiations for the new union contract.
Each of the 7 nations has its own scars from the past.
Though your point is the very height of simplicity. As Adepti, we've become a laughingstock, to be chastised thus by an outlander who has lent us such succor.
I'll explain why this is funny in a moment. So let's go through laughingstock first. Laughingstock, noun, describes a person or a group subjected to general mockery or ridicule or humiliation, usually appearing foolish despite trying to be so serious. There's so many situations how to use this and say this, kind of like we witness a bodybuilder who takes a lot of effort to lift something heavy and then gets leveled up by a petite woman who picks up the same weight effortlessly. As another example, an example sentence, let's say an Olympic team. Here's a sentence. The team has become the laughingstock of the league after losing every game. Chastised, verb, means to be severely scolded or criticized, or sometimes physically punished for doing something wrong. Example sentence, my grandma chastised me for trying to mess with the fuse box, which is very dangerous. You definitely shouldn't. Such succor, such relief or comfort, because succor, noun, means to provide urgent help or comfort to someone in distress or in need. Not very conversational anymore, but it is formal and it's very appropriate because they are adepti, and in English history, succor is part of the Bible, such as in this sentence. This is not from the Bible. In their mortal peril, the Greeks turned to us for succor. This is very funny because it's a realization moment. It's an ironic moment where the Adepti noun shaper realizes that, man, we're useless. And then Traveler ends up fixing up Liyue, then them.
All right. Didn't Ningguang suggest that we should focus on the city and each of its citizens? I know I already have, so why not see for yourselves?
I apologize for appearing in full armor. I am afraid I cannot show the proper courtesies.
And who are you?
I am Feng Yan, a sergeant of the Millelith. I have come to extend my thanks to the Adepti. I thought this battle would perhaps be my last. But thanks to the aid of the Adepti, our forces were not as badly battered as I feared we might be. Although I am a mere mortal soldier, I promise to hold the line and never betray the grace given to us by the illuminated Adepti this day.
Huh? Why does everyone look so down? Didn't we just beat that big monster?
Weren't you frightened, dear? It was quite the predicament.
I wasn't afraid. All the strong Millelith guards were there, and those powerful heroes with their visions were there. Everyone was there. When danger is near, everyone always protects me. And the rest of the time, they make fun toys and tasty snacks and loads of things that make the harbor so pretty. Thanks for protecting Liyue Harbor. Please come visit us for the next lantern rite.
Unfortunately, we wouldn't be able to participate.
Huh?
Because we are Adepti.
Oh, okay. It must be hard being an Adeptus. Aww.
You see, this is what Liyue is like today. The country of contracts is grateful to the Adepti for their protection, but it is no longer necessary for the city to rely on the Adepti's power to solve every little niggling matter.
Every minuscule matter.
Although their blood is weak, there is still strength to be found in those we call mortals. The time of contracts between gods and Liyue has long since passed. Now is the time of contracts between Liyue and its people.
Seeing the port around us now, it is hard not to feel a bit out of place. Wouldn't you say so, Cloud Retainer?
Your line of inquiry is askew. One did not spearhead this expedition to Liyue Harbor.
Seems like the Adepti have had a change of heart.
When someone has a change of heart, they change their perspective, and so they change their mind on a certain topic and make a decision. Change of heart is an excellent idiom, usually said when someone makes a more honest decision than their decision initially made. Best example sentence, as if it is a rom-com telenova series. Garcia has a change of heart and leaves Damien to be with Ronaldo because Ronaldo knew Garcia from elementary school. Could be used as a question, such as in this example. Oh, you had a change of heart? You do want the iPhone 2000 Plus E? The newest AI chip, I presume? You're out of my RAM mind, I am.
Let us return now.
Eager to leave, conqueror of demons.
Yes, one understands what the Conqueror of Demons means. The city of Liyue has changed much after our long separation. One fears that by the time one finally grasps the new contracts of Liyue, you humans would have once again changed the place beyond recognition. Fair enough. Away we shall, and return whence we came.
Alright, and whence here. So, whence is a tricky one. It is an adverb, but it can also act as a preposition and a conjunctive adverb, just because it combines from and where. And that's the base meaning, from where. It's very Old English, and it is very Shakespearean because I have a background in performing arts. So as a preposition, a sentence would look like this. From whence cometh my help? And then as a conjunctive adverb, he went back whence he had come. And then as a plain adverb, as a place, he returned to the place whence he came. A good rule of thumb, whenever there is from in that sentence, followed by a whence is used as a preposition. And when it's a conjunctive adverb, when the whence word connects clauses, from the example we have here, he went back whence he had come. Just remember that pattern. And then as an adverb, the pattern is pretty basic there, where it needs a place of origin. He returned to the place whence he came, from which place he came. On your tests, I strongly suggest that you need to try to speak out loud for this word. If you have to mark down, oh, it's being used as a preposition or adverb, because it's going to help you, and you're going to notice that. I'm pretty sure you can notice the difference. He returned to the place from which? From which? See? Try that.
Since we Adepti have consensus, then one shall persist no further.
To have consensus means that everyone agrees. Such as example sentence, the fraternity and sororities agreed that they will have one wild college party after graduation.
But how will we ensure that the Liyue Chising will not simply exploit their power once we depart? In my view, that is still a thing to be guarded against.
All right, Mooncarver, you needn't worry. It seems to me that this right of supervision is best left to the people of Liyue.
Looks like the conflict between humans and Adepti was avoided. All's well that ends well, huh? Oh, right! It's nice that we've got peace and all, but we're forgetting one thing. Child wanted to unleash the god so he could lure Rex Lapis out. But we were able to handle the Overlord of the Vortex on our own, so Rex Lapis never showed up. Oh, and speaking of that, don't we still need to get to the bottom of that Archon's death too?
Yeah, we never got to the bottom of that. Yep, and that's our English lesson for today. I'll see you on the next one, and thanks for watching. We'll continue to Liyue Act 3, Part 6, English Lesson 49. Bye! Au revoir! 再见!
Yawning without covering your mouth. Uncouth.